Well, if anyone in the session, if your New Year's resolution was spend more time on paperwork, be less efficient while you're selling insurance, just spend less time actually interfacing with your customers, then this may not be the meeting for you. But if you would like to save some time, spend more of that time doing all the other important things that come your way, then we're going to have a great afternoon together. So let me go ahead. I will get this thing kicked off and share my screen with you. Very excited to unveil our brand new intro deck. So you all are actually the first ones to see this. You go back a page here. Welcome to the world's first Neo Insurer. What is a Neo Insurer? Well, part of being the first company to do something is, nobody really knows. So you can kind of think about it in the context of the wider industry where you've got legacy insurance companies. Some of these guys have been around for 400 years and, they've been keeping the economy moving during that time, helping protect people's investments and, their property and enabling them to take risk, all amazing things. But a lot of these companies, as they've grown and as they've developed, their primary consideration isn't always making things fast and easy. You have the insurtechs, which probably started popping up, around 20, 30 years ago. And these are basically companies that have figured out how to layer on some nice technology to that legacy experience. But, you'll find that a lot of times they just they don't have that control of their own destiny. Like this other company behind the scenes really calling the shots. Where you can compare that to MGT. We are the carrier. It's our capital. We stand behind the risks that we underwrite through the platform. And because we really control the entire process from developing the product to paying out the claims, just lets us deliver a great experience to you and to our policyholders throughout the entire life cycle of that policy. A little bit about MGT. We are rated A minus, excellent by AM Best. So you can always feel comfortable and confident as you're writing policies with us. We focus on speed and ease of doing business. And my very favorite statistic to share is that over 80% of our policies have gone from logging in to start the submission to bound and issued in 10 minutes or less. We have a wide footprint as well. We're admitted in 44 states and the District of Columbia and growing. We should have some good additions before too long. We support over 250 classes of business across a wide range of industries. And just quick little teaser hint, but coming soon, we should be adding somewhere around 2 dozen class codes to support artisan contractors' appetite. Really excited for that. We do focus on small businesses, and to us, that means up to 3 million revenues for most risks, up to 5 million revenue for professional and medical offices. We'll write up to 2 million total insured value per location, up to 4 locations per policy. We will write buildings that are up to 35,000 square feet. And we are able to write some of the kind of tougher cases that might come your way, like new ventures, businesses with no prior coverage, coverage lapses, claims history. All those situations can be eligible with us. Now, Jonathan, that's a great question. Does MGT write churches? The answer might be a little bit too convoluted to get into for this webinar, but essentially, we do partner with another carrier and they use our platform to support that business. But we are not actually underwriting it. It's all kind of controlled by them. So happy to take that offline too if you want more of a like fleshed out answer, but that should be the highlights. It's a great question. Um, and then we do have a amazing appetite page. So you can check out our appetite guide. This is all available to you actually. If you go to our platform and click the BOP Appetite tab, you can download that same appetite guide. And then you can also work with our AI appetite assistant, whose name is Amy, which is a great resource for you. If you had a question like, can you write a sandwich shop in Philadelphia? Well, should probably even know, even with my fat fingering that. But let's just say, can you write a sandwich shop in Philadelphia? Amy will come back to us with a pretty quick answer. And she's smart enough to know that sandwich shops are a deli, which is a type of restaurant that we support. She knows Philadelphia, most likely Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, which is a state that we are licensed to do business in. And so she can give you some quick guidance if you have just a super easy, well, not easy necessarily, but a super quick appetite question. You don't even have to log in. You can just jump in there and get some quick guidance. So we're really focused on making this whole process easy for you even before the quote starts. We do have some coverage enhancements available for our policies as well. A lot of great stuff in here. One thing I think is really exciting is we are able to underwrite hired non-owned auto for both restaurants that aren't doing self-delivery and contractors, as well as other classes that we write. We also always include some cyber liability in our policies, and then you have options to include things like spoilage coverage, workers' comp stopgap in the monopolistic states, mine subsidence in states where that might be a concern, special events with host liquor liability for most classes. There's a lot of good stuff in here. We've also got some optional coverages for things like crime and fraud, property extensions, business interruption on an actual loss sustained 12-month basis. So again, a lot of really good stuff in these policies. We also, for restaurants, do offer a package of coverage enhancements that includes some nice coverages that can be very important for restaurants, like increased spoilage and contamination limits, some different coverages for things like lock replacements if they lose that key that opens up every door in their building, reward payments if something gets stolen, they want to offer a reward, all kinds of good stuff there. And then let's take a look now and see how it all works. So to start a submission, very first thing you'll do is put in the business name. Now, there is one kind of golden rule when you're running a demo, never go off script. Anyone who does these regularly always has stuff prepared. But I am so confident in this tech. If anybody has a business out there they'd like to just kind of shout out, we'll run a sample quote for them. It could be a restaurant you love to go to for lunch, could be your barber, beauty parlor, nail salon you like to go to, maybe a real estate agent that you work with. I'd be very happy to show you how this looks when you're working on an actual real submission. And then if nobody shouts one out, I definitely still do have some in my back pocket. We'll run with one of those if we need to. Smoothie King. In a few months, that might be me. So let's go Smoothie King. And then it's going to start to pre-fill some of those different options. Let's try the Denver Tech Center. It's really cool. I abbreviated that DTC. The system still knows that's the Denver Tech Center. So there's just a lot of cool stuff going on behind the scenes to make things easy for you. We'll click continue. And then it's going to start building our quote. Behind the scenes, there's a lot of really cool technology coming into play. We are looking up and referencing somewhere around 3,900 different data points on this business, which gives us a pretty comprehensive picture of their risk profile and just helps us determine that this is something we're comfortable offering a bindable quote on in just minutes. You can imagine, someone who's still working in that more old school way. Maybe they're still looking at handwritten accords. Maybe they have a system that they're using to plug in and rate some of this information, but it's all built off 30-year-old spreadsheets and computers that run MS-DOS. How long do you think it would take someone working like that to find 3,900 different data points. David Scott has a great question. Is MGT available direct to the consumer or just through agents? The answer there is just through agents. We really appreciate and respect the role agents play in helping guide policyholders through that entire process. So we only distribute through insurance agencies. Great question.
Oh, sorry.
So as we start this quote off, you'll have a couple questions that come up. Have there been any claims, and do we want to add building coverage? For this one, we'll just run it through as a nice, easy tenant kind of policy with contents. And so we'll select continue. The system has looked up that business and it kind of understands that a Smoothie King fits best as a fast food or casual restaurant, so we'll go with that class. You can change this though. If it sometimes it'll pull it up and it'll say, "Oh, this looks like an office to me," or it might trigger like the wrong type of restaurant from time to time. I like to say trust but verify. If you need to go through and make any updates, you're always able to do that. So we'll click continue. And then you'll see a lot of these questions have been pre-filled for us based on the information that the system was able to find. It knows that Smoothie King is a franchise. It knows some of these other questions. So again, trust but verify, make sure they all look correct. But we don't have to spend that mental bandwidth and all those, finger repetitions of just clicking yes, 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 no, no, no. So we'll click continue here. Again, some more pre-filled information. It looks like this one's a new venture. I'm going to change this to 2020 just to make sure that it quotes for us. And then we'll click continue. Looks like they've got one event. We will go ahead and include some special events liability just so you can see what that looks like. It's that easy. How many how many attendees do you expect? Roughly, pretty big ballpark. It's pulling their gross sales. So we'll click continue. And now it's going to find some information about that location. So again, it's doing some digging, it's doing some research. And one of the coolest things I think that occurs during this step is it actually can find that location, trace out its footprint, and then use that information to calculate out the square footage. So again, just taking some of that, kind of tedious data entry type work off your plate so you can focus on all the other important things that you have to do on a typical day. Again, it's finding some more information about that building, and you'll see in just a moment here, some of these will populate for us as well. So we'll let this load. Believe it or not, we're probably around 85% complete with this submission by now. Sometimes this step can take, 30, 45 seconds. It's just digging through and analyzing and collating a ton of data. But we've got some answers back now. We've got a contents only quote, 1,200 square feet. Let's do 25,000, 100,000 would be a pretty nice Smoothie King. And then we'll click continue. We will confirm the location here. If we needed to add more locations, we could do that as well. And then we have the option to opt out of TRIA coverage, but we will keep that included. And then we'll click continue. And now it'll start to put together our quote. So again, it's crunching through all the numbers. And in just a few seconds here, we should have a bindable quote back. And so just that fast, we've got a bindable quote. You can scroll down and see some of the details here. I know everyone on this call has probably seen a million pages that look just like this, so we won't spend too much time on this process. But I will show you here, you can update all these different sublimits that may be needed. So you can really dial the policy in to that specific business, their risks and their concerns. Always recommend to, if nothing else, give it a quick scroll through, check out down here at the bottom. This is where you'll find some of those optional coverages and coverage enhancements as well. If we wanted to add higher non-owned auto, we would just select that, and then it's going to recalculate the premium for us. So we'll update the quote, we'll include that higher non-owned auto, and then we'll be able to go through and bind that coverage. Also, make sure to take note of the effective date. When this pre-populates for you, it's going to use the effective date that is the furthest in the future that that quote would be bound. We don't do same day binds here, but you can set this effective date as early as you need to, as long as that's tomorrow or later. So once we're ready to go, we'll click continue to bind. We'll enter in some information about the policyholder. And then we will check the box, confirm, and now it's going to send the policyholder a payment link. In probably around 10 seconds from now, I'm going to have that link in my email. But just say you get a follow-up call or message from that applicant you've been working with, they haven't received it. Just fire this up, click copy share link, and then I'm just going to open a new tab so you can see what this looks like from their perspective. From here, you can select annual, quarterly, or monthly. Monthly payments are supported through our new platform. They're not available in the old platform. They actually use different payment vendors. And the payment vendor that we are starting to use has some additional flexibility. So we're really excited to be able to offer this. So we'll select the annual payment and click continue. Then we'll e-sign the policy documents. It's getting that loaded up for us right now, putting all that together. And in just a second here, I'll be able to give it my signature. Pretty accurate. This is a great demo, right? Do a nice smiley face. And then a quick tip here, if you click sign all, you don't have to go through and look at every single signature line. You'll have all those documents available to you. The policyholder will also have all those signed documents available to them. So everybody who needs to save those for their records can. And then just continue to payment here. And it's going to be pretty straightforward, just putting in any required payment information. Now, one thing that I know can come up a lot is once you send out that payment link, maybe you send an email or a phone call or text message to the applicant. They're not getting back to you, but you need to know what's going on with this. If we go back to the platform here, you'll see this actually updates as we go through the process, so you can always stay in touch with what's happening with this bind order. So sometimes in the demo system, it just kind of spins in circles here. But I will say this is probably the single easiest part of the whole process is making payment. And then as soon as that payment goes through, the policy is bound, it's issued, and within about 60 to 90 seconds, you'll have all the documents available in the platform for you as well. If we click into the policies tab, then you'll be able to see some of those policies that have bound. So, I think it always takes a little bit longer while I'm narrating along the way. But if my count's right, I think we went from logging in to start the quote to bound and issued in about 8 minutes there. Not too shabby. So, I had mentioned earlier we've got some contractors appetite on the way. I think that's going to be a really good fit for us because we're all about making things fast and easy. They'll be able to use our platform to access things like certificates of insurance and declarations pages when they just need to give those over to a job holder. And also just super fast, super easy to quote, bind, issue, service those accounts. We've got some other great stuff coming throughout this year, so stay tuned. We are going to have a ton of exciting updates for you. And usually around this point, I will turn it over to Annalise to talk about some of the recent wins that we've had so you could get an idea of the kinds of accounts our agents have been having success with.
Awesome. Thanks, Dan. And just a quick note, folks, just before I get into appetite, MGT is here to support you guys. So if you have any issues when you're quoting, you're curious about our appetite, on our website, we have a chat feature that enables you to ask the chat any sort of appetite questions. It has a lot of information on MGT and what our appetite is, but there's also humans behind all that technology. So if you need to get in touch with somebody on our support team, do not hesitate to reach out to us via chat. And our appetite, like Dan said, our appetite is expanding soon. We're going to be adding artists and contractors, which is really exciting. But some of the stuff that we've built a really solid foundation on are distributors. This week alone, we have sold an appliance distributor, so appliances, refrigerators, things of that nature, and pool supply distributor. Sorry, not pool supply, janitorial supply distributor. So we do have a pretty robust distributor option. Along with distributors, we also do food distribution. So if you have produce, if somebody has dry goods, we're good for food distribution and auto part distributors as well. So that's some of our appetite that we're seeing that more agents are starting to bind in the distribution classes. Another class that we always do really well in is medical offices. And our medical offices can go anything from a medical clinic, a psychiatric office, things of that nature. So take a look at our medical offices appetite as it's really robust and we have a lot of coverages there.
That was great. Well, at this point, I think we have pretty much gotten through all the great stuff. David, another great question. I don't think I have access to the new rating portal. How do I get that? Right now, we are actually working on getting it set up so that the two systems can talk to each other and it'll know that you have an actual login. After this, I will send you over, though, a new appointment link for the news platform. You'll have to go through the registration process again, but it only takes a couple minutes. And as soon as you do that, you'll have instant access to the platform. And if you don't want to do it, just wait a few days. We'll have everything loaded up for you too. So, really great question. We're going to start migrating everybody over to this platform pretty soon, so keep an eye out. But we are making all of our new updates and new improvements to this new platform only. So as you want to make the most of working with MGT, all the great stuff's going to be in the new version.
Dan,
So.
do you want to put our support the slide up on the slide, the support, how how they can stay in touch with us?
Yep. Let me share my screen for you real quick. This is going to have all the contact information that you'll need to as you're working with MGT. There's a whole team that's here to support you. And if you have any questions or need some assistance, please always feel welcome to reach out to me. Annalise is also a great partner for you. We have, again, that instant message support chat. You can contact our underwriting team. We have a customer support team as well. And Amy is available for you 24/7, 365. So thanks so much for joining us today. Really appreciate all the engagement, great questions. Appreciate again your time. I know that your time is valuable. Really, that's the entire reason we exist, is to help you make the most of that time you have. People ask me all the time, what does MGT stand for? This afternoon, I think it stood for Mighty Good Time. So I hope you had one too. I appreciate you joining us.
Thanks, folks. Have a great day.
Thank you. Looking forward to working with you all.